If you've been having a rough time of it just lately, this video might just be for you. Welcome to the ABL Reselling channel. I'm Dave Keeffe and I'm a full-time UK reseller. What I mean by a reseller is I take items from one marketplace, whether it be car boot sales, charity shops, online and physical auctions, and sell them online to make a profit. And that's how I make a living. Now, I've really been wanting to make this video for quite some time now, and the whole reason for me putting it together is hopefully to inspire and encourage people with the approach to reselling in general. Now, I've been quite reflective this past year, obviously because of the lockdowns and the pandemic and all that kind of stuff. It's given me time to take stock of my own situation, and it has been rough for me personally as well. So I think I'm not immune to everything that's been going on. Like a lot of people, it has been all a bit shit, to be fair. Now, it came to me as quite the epiphany that all my working life, no matter how much I was paid for the job I was doing, I was always living to or beyond my means. Now, I've had minimum wage jobs and I've had jobs that could be considered enough for an affluent lifestyle. And come the end of the month, my bank balance was much the same in either instance, as were my prospects. Now, before I get into this, it's important to note that I'm not an expert in any field. It's particularly reselling. I've never claimed to be any form of guru. I'm just a normal guy that has taken an uncomfortable amount of time to finally breaking free from wage slavery and finally put myself in a position where I have the freedom to enjoy my life and stop killing myself just to make ends meet. How did you do that, Dave? I hear you say. Obviously, I didn't hear you say that, but I'm going to crack on anyway. Now, I've called this video a roadmap to success, and I've broken it down into 5 steps. Step 1 is the most important one, the single most important one, and that's stop making excuses. When I say stop making excuses, it's excuses to do or not to do something. If you're waiting for the right time to get into reselling, there never will be a right time. If friends, relatives, your peer group think you're not up to it and you take that on board, then you never will be up to it. If you're waiting until you've got X amount of pounds in the bank before you'll start, there's a very good chance you'll never have that money to start. It might sound like I'm being a bit ranty here, but excuses are the single biggest inhibitor to motivation and inspiration there is. And unless you banish them, the best you can hope for is a very bumpy ride. Once you banish the excuses that are holding you back, you can start to make the changes for the better. And step 2, discover how you absorb information. Now, I've never been a big reader of non-fiction, so in the main reference books were out, and sitting in a classroom while an automaton taught to the lowest common denominator just frustrates the hell out of me. So I had to cast my net further for knowledge. Now, I discovered I learn best by repetition, not necessarily by parroting something I'd heard, but by repeatedly listening to or watching something. Now, not a lot of people are exactly the same, and information wise, there's never been a time in the history of mankind that's been better than right now. We're abundantly blessed with a wealth of knowledge on virtually everything, and it's all available for free, and we carry it around in our pockets on one of these. Now, I thought to myself, if I can't make my aspirations work with the information and knowledge available to me, then I'm pretty screwed. Now, I'm sure you won't be surprised to hear that my biggest source of information and knowledge has been YouTube. I'm blessed with a very finely tuned bullshit detector, so I find it quite easy to filter out a lot of the nonsense that's available as well. Now, like a lot of you, the source of a lot of my information comes from YouTube. It always has been, and it always probably will be, a large part of my arsenal as far as learning stuff's concerned. And there's a good chance that's the reason you're watching this video today. Of course, you've got to be really selective of where you absorb your information from. I certainly wouldn't recommend the likes of Facebook. It's the single biggest source of false information there is. And I always find it's advantageous, particularly where YouTube's concerned, is to get a broad spectrum of information rather than just hang your hat on one door for one provider of content. That way you can build up a broad image of what you want to achieve and take the best bits from each, basically. Now, step 3 complements step 2, and that is realize that working on something that interests you or that you're good at greatly increases your chance of success. Now, this and step 2 probably could be interchangeable actually, because your passion could be something that you discover in the search for knowledge, but also tripling down on something that interests you or that you are actually good at. It can be enhanced by discovering how you learn in the first place. Now, anecdotally, for me, I had an experience 10 years ago where I was involved in reselling for a company that I work for. Now, in hindsight, that experience had huge flashing lights on it saying, listen up, bugger lugs, you need to be doing this for yourself. But hindsight's a wonderful thing, and I've certainly no regrets. And the only thing I can surmise from that particular experience, that I was so entrenched in the work hard, do the job, get paid, pay your bills mindset, that I was obviously completely oblivious to the opportunity that was in front of me. Now, step 4, and this is an important one. This is a very important one. I want you guys now to join me on this one. Get your fingers, put them in your ears and go la 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 la, not listening. As I said earlier, march to the beat of your own drum. There's always going to be someone who thinks you're going to fail. Don't let that person be you. Letting other people's opinion of you is entirely unnecessary, and it's entirely counterproductive. If you take nothing else away from this video, I said it earlier, remember this one thing: misery loves company. If somebody's trying to make you feel bad and telling you that you suck, or you're ugly, or you're a horrible person, I guarantee it's because they're in a bad place themselves. Not only should you realise that and use it as a tool to rid yourself of self-doubt, I actually urge you to empathise with the person who's trying to make you feel bad. If someone's so damaged that they take the time out of their lives to try and make you feel worse about yourself and put all that energy into dragging you down, they're obviously in a really dark place themselves. The bottom line is, succeed or fail, it's got to be entirely your choice. It's got to be entirely in your hands. Letting other people control your choice with their opinion is the biggest disservice that you could possibly do to yourself. The final step is step 5. Keep going. The road to success is twisty, turny, uppy, downy, kicky up the arsey, punchy in the gutty. It's a rough ride, people. You're gonna fall down. You're gonna have hard times, I guarantee it. You're gonna be so stressed that you can feel your heart pounding in your ears. Now, as much as the lows can make you question yourself, knowing that you're responsible for the wins makes all those lows seem insignificant. True strength is found by getting knocked on your ass in round 1 and still getting up to fight for round 2, 3, 4, 5. Treat success and failure in the same regard, but keep going. You've only actually lost when you stop trying. Now, I feel like this statement would be more at home in an AA meeting, but I'm Dave Keeffe and I'm a massive loser. Personally speaking, I absolutely welcome failure. In fact, if failure was to knock on my door, I'd open it, shake its hand, invite it in for a cup of tea and probably even a slice of cake. I have learned so much through falling on my arse and picking myself up and dusting myself off. Now, when you experience those fails, and you will, it's gonna feel like a kick in the ass. But every fail is a learning experience. Sometimes you're gonna have to really dig deep for the fortitude to pull yourself out of them. But when you do, and you will, the grass on the other side of it is much greener. Now, if you've got this far in this video, you may have come to the conclusion that it's overly sentimental bollocks, but my whole intention for doing it was to, as I said at the top of the video, to inspire and to motivate. Hopefully I've achieved that. If you're the type of person that has the drive and desire to succeed in what you do, then you will. Of course, you've got to tinge that with realism. I mean, I'm never going to be a brain surgeon or an astronaut. I don't particularly want to be. Even if I had the drive and determination to achieve that, there's a very good chance that I probably won't, not at the age of 50 anyway. But one thing I can say with that question, if you are an excuse maker and if you're a defeatist, then you're already starting on the back foot. Now, if you've got any value out of this video at all, I really would appreciate it. I mean, obviously the thumbs up are nice and all the rest of it, but if you think that somebody else might benefit from watching this video, then send it on to them, tag them in it, send them a link. When I decided to put this video together, I had it in mind that because a lot of people have had a particularly shitty year, that it would be a good idea to take stock and perhaps make my own experiences through reselling in general and being a business owner, gave somebody out there at least food for thought. Now, thank you to every single last one of you for supporting the channel. It really is appreciated. I always hope that me sharing my reselling journey helps somebody out there with theirs. So, in customary fashion, I've been Dave Keeffe. You've been amazing. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.